Yeah, I know that as a type 1 diabetic because I know I have to carb count. I have to count the carbs of everything I eat so I can match the insulin to it. Or that
How
would,
many, do you have a specific number per day that you do?
right now it's under 5. I mean, it's because
Oh my
the
God.
vegetables that I eat are just so low in carb anyway. They're the low carbohydrate vegetables. And because I'm eating
Mhm.
them in smaller quantities and just focusing on protein. In fact, most of the insulin I take to cover my meals are for the protein itself rather than the carbohydrates. I completely ignore the carbohydrates. I don't even dose for the vegetables.
Yeah,
They're
you're at five. You're
yeah,
talking about 5 grams total or 5%? Five
total,
grams.
total,
Oh my God.
total.
Yeah, that's low.
I mean, wouldn't that up? So I don't even um, count the carbs. I just dose for the protein. But that's, I mean, for a type 1 diabetic, and I was shifting from what we started to talk about, but for a type 1 diabetic, that's a challenge because there is no formula about, how much insulin to take for the
Right,
protein.
right.
And so you have to learn. Unfortunately, people in my community, we have to learn through trial and error.
It is trial and error. I actually am like, um, it's it's so hard. So I think the hardest thing about having a type 1 diabetic patient is they've been told for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know when I'm going to meet them. It could be when they're 70 that they have to eat carbs. And like for them more than anyone else, it's the hardest to give them up because they have associated that with like a necessity, like an absolute necessity. And usually when I have a type 1 diabetic person sitting in front of me, they have never tried or even thought about trying low carb. Whereas a lot of other patients come to see me and they're like, yeah, I did keto once. And I lost a lot of weight, but then I started eating carbs again and it all came back. It's like that person is so easy to work with because it's like, you could pinpoint, of course you start eating carbs. That's your answer, right? Like you are, genetically incapable of eating carbs or you're going to gain all this weight. So it's like you can reason with them. But if someone has unfortunately been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 50 years ago, it's so hard convincing them that carbs are part of the problem. They've been told from how many professionals, medical professionals, nurses, dietitians, personal trainers, they've been told for decades that they're supposed to eat carbs. So it's like I'm the first one telling them maybe they should minimize them.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I created a Facebook group. It's a small for the small, I think, a narrow community of type 1s specifically who do fasting and not only intermittent, but some of us do extended fast as well and keto. And I was surprised because now there are 300 members in the group and we're all doing the same thing. So the movement is growing. I think
That's
we're
good. I'm
becoming
gonna
more.
need that. I need that group.
Yeah, I'll invite you. I'll send you the link. I mean, we are learning from each other. We're supporting each other. But I think that what's sad about it is that it is us in the community who are supporting one another, and none of us is getting the support from our physicians or healthcare specialists.
It's so sad. This is why I'm not friends with many doctors. It's so sad.
We're having to figure things out, but it's also shocking when people send me private messages, so saying, "So what do you eat at bedtime?" And I'm thinking, why would I need to eat at bedtime? Because I have a low during the night. But so for 20 years, people have been told to eat cornstarch and milk and oats right at bedtime.
I
And
know.
it's shocking for me. It's actually sad, and they've got it ingrained in them because that's what they've been told for 20 years. That's what they're doing, and then they go, well, but it doesn't seem to be working. Well, yeah, I'm still dropping low, but why are you dropping low? You're dropping low because your insulin is too high. Why
Yeah.
hasn't someone told them you're taking too much nighttime insulin? Just reduce
Nighttime insulin.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I
don't
know.
need a snack. You don't need a snack.
I had a patient go from 120 units a day to 0 in 6 months. Like A1C 12.1 to 5.6, like obviously type 2 diabetic. But immediately upon meeting an endocrinologist, he was told, oh, well, your A1C is 12. So you need to be on high doses of insulin right away. Whereas like if I was meeting that person right away, I would be like, this is an emergency, but it's an emergency dietary intervention that we have to do. Like, why put someone on 120 units of insulin just to normalize it in the short term when that's going to do him no favors and he's just going to gain a ton more weight? I mean, it'll only do it's so short-sighted. It's like immediately your blood sugar will be lower, but what is this going to do 120 units a day long term to body weight and whatever else? You know, like, it's just going to screw up his system even more. So I mean, yeah, type 2 is a little easier because when you meet the person, you can almost show them how it's possible. I use like other patients' data that's anonymous, and I'll show them how within 3 months, within 6 months, it's possible to cut their A1C in half. We need more data on type 1, just to show people, you know, like to show them that it's possible. I think this group is going to be so important and transformative. I had no idea that it even existed. I'm like so excited to share this with my patients. I have a few who are type 1, and I will definitely send it to them. Anyone can join, right?
Anyone can join.